get into our next game here. Quick information. The score currently is 1-0 for Naama. This is not game number 1, but game number 2. But introducing our players here. Spawning in the bottom right hand side of Akilon Wastes. It is going to be the orange term player playing for Core. It is Hoofen.
And in the top left hand corner of the map, here on Akilon Wastes, is going to be representing Fnatic. It's going to be our red Terran.Naama.
Indeed, so we have a TVT this time. Definitely no PVZ anymore. I think three times in a row PVZ would be maybe a little bit stale. But we have some differences here. But map, sadly, will be the same one, still Akilon Wastes. As previously mentioned, very easily to secure, or very easy on this map to secure 4 bases. So we might see some longer games here, but I think ultimately will maybe once again be Marine tank.
It's certainly a very viable option in TVT, and especially when both players go Marine tank, you can lead to some very long and very elegant games, which get decided by tank placement, which get decided by those Brave Marine stim runs. So I'd very much look forward to that. Alternatively, there's Banshee play that we could see, there's pure mech, there's pure bio, there's all sorts of options that the Terran players could come out with.
Indeed, so far the openings pretty much look exactly the same. Both players also going for exactly the same timing, even though Naama I think is maybe 1 or 2 seconds ahead. But I think that's not gonna make too much of a difference. So both players so far very even.
Absolutely. We're moving out with our scouting SCVs for each player. Again, they're not going to learn too much. They're going to see very standard openings out of both players. There's extra supply depots coming down. Still nothing to really point us in any kind of direction. A Marine has popped out here for Naama. It is going to just fend off that first SCV. But a Reaper is going to be the choice for Hoofen. So he's going to go for some quick Reaper, either some scouting or aggression.
Absolutely, I think he's just gonna go for scouting. Maybe building 2 Reapers here and then trying to get as much done as possible. On the other end, though, we see Fnatic.Naama going for a very quick factory here. So he might open up with maybe some Hellions, or if he decides to go for that second gas, maybe also Stargate play. Banshees or maybe also Ravens are possible. So let's see what he's planning on doing.
We have a factory now coming down from Hoofen. Oh no, sorry, we have a second command center coming down from Hoofen. So he's got his Reapers out. He's getting his Reapers out. He's going to expand. We don't see that mirrored across the other side of the map. We see a factory finishing, and what's he going to do with this factory? He's going to choose Starport. So it looks like we could see some. You could be right. We could be seeing. We could be seeing some Ravens out here.
We could indeed, or maybe just plain old Banshee play. Anyways, that will.
There's a
not
Reaper
Banshee,
now.
but drop play. Sorry, Reaper now eventually is going to get into the main. We'll see pretty much everything. He's now going to try to get an SCV. Eventually, will get taken out here by those Marines. There we go. But he already got some nice scouting done.
Yep, there's a Hellion on the map now as well, just moving across. It's going to, again, probably be more for scouting or anything. It's going to get spotted by this cleverly placed Reaper up here. So Hoofen knows it's moving out across the map, and it knows it's going to be in its mineral line anytime soon. I don't think we have too much to fend it off, really, though, in terms of units.
No,
that
definitely
Reaper
not.
is the only army unit Hoofen has on the map.
Absolutely, Hoofen went for that very quick command center. And maybe Naama is just going to punish that here. We already see a couple of medevacs coming out here. So he's definitely trying to get into drop play. The question is, can Hoofen stop that? He's already going to set up a couple of missile turrets. But I think he's just going to go for the elevator drop here right at the 3rd base. And there are no turrets set up just right there.
Interesting. He's gone for reactor. He's gone for 2 tech labs on his bio. He's got react. He's reactoring out Marines as well. So he's ready for it. Oh, he's not ready for this at all. He was ready at the front, but he's not ready at the side. The Hellion drops in. The missile turret will attack away. But, oh, those Hellions going to carve through the bio. There's Marauders, but they're not going to do too much damage. Now I think we're in a really good position for Naama here. A really well-timed elevator drop there.
Absolutely. That bunker, though, will eventually save Hoofen for the first couple of moments here. As it is right now, Naama cannot breach through that, but he definitely will deny that expansion from happening here.
That could be crucial, because with the economy advantage he'll have when he eventually gets his second up, if he can deny that second coming out, I don't think he's... Yes, he's just finishing his second command center now. So, despite not going command center first, it looks like he could be the first player to have that operational command center, bringing the income, and he's going to push in once more. There's some bio, but those Hellions are bad news for bio, and they pick off a few Marines before retreating back down the ramp.
Absolutely, they got a very, very nice volley off there, already killing 2 Marines with 1 shot. The reminders of the forces will eventually though fall back to the bunker and secure that position. But still, Hoofen is pretty much contained in his own main base. He cannot get out of there. And with that, Naama is also now going to start tank production, so he will also ultimately have the higher tank count eventually. And pretty much the only saving grace that is there right now for Hoofen is the bunker and also the upgrades that he's starting.
Yeah, he's really going to need to get that second command center down very, very soon though, to keep up. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So he's going to now try and push down. Is he going to back? He's threatening to push down in an attempt to take that natural. He needs to do it now because there's already 11 SCVs mining from the natural of Naama. So that advantage is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as the game goes on. Naama's first tank is in position and sieged up as well. So if that bio does try and come down, in fact he's going to try and move his command center out anyway. He is going to support it, but that tank could do so much damage. Here comes the engagement. Stims in, but the tank just does so much damage to the bio. I think there's just too much that picks up and gets away, but a really, despite not preventing the second, it's looked like a fairly efficient engagement there for Naama.
Absolutely, that worked out very, very nicely. I mean, he lost that tank, but it's just one tank. He can replenish that very, very easily. And he was just able to contain his opponent for so long, and will now once again go for the drops here. And look at all those SCVs that are just about to arrive at the natural there. They will all eventually get taken out. The tank is already firing. We see the Hellions being dropped onto the high ground here. They will also going to do a lot of damage here. And it's just not looking good for Hoofen.
Oh, and that second tank goes down. Hoofen, though, doesn't have any medevacs to heal this bio, so this bio is just getting more and more chipped away. It's gradually going down.
Yeah, pretty much every
Naama can push it.
Pretty much every stim hurts right now here for Hoofen, so bad, just because he cannot heal up his units. And if you cannot heal up your units, then that stim pretty much will eventually kill you off. So that is not really good. And also with that splash damage of the tanks, that bio is just going to die so quickly if you're going to go into bad engagement. Once again, here we go.
All those tanks are opening up, and if he engages, he's going to be in all sorts of trouble. But he wisely pulls back. Meanwhile, there's drops coming into the main of Hoofen. There's a little bit of bio there. Those Hellions are going to drop very quickly, though. That's done enough just to distract his attention, and now the bio will move in. Hoofen's going to lose everything at his ramp, surely, when those tanks siege up.
There's another stim, meaning that Hoofen even has now fewer HP than he had before. It is very bad looking here for him. Has to pull already a couple of SCVs here. I don't know what he's planning on doing with them, but he has them. Maybe to tank something. Anyways, he's now going to push on forward with that first tank being on siege. But he just doesn't have enough because the other tank is still in siege. And that would have crushed him, so he's wisely pulling back here. But there's nothing he can do about that contain.
No, at all. And if he wanted to, he could just walk his tanks forward one by one. A third tank has now arrived. That presumably is going to siege up a little bit closer. Yep, and now we're going to start the tank walk up the ramp. Desperately trying to get out some medevacs is Hoofen. He's just dropped his starport onto reactor, so we'll presumably be starting 2 immediately. He does, but does that mean now is the time for Naama to push in and take
it? It is indeed. There we go.
Oh, and those tanks doing so much damage. The tanks do so much damage. There's far less bio here for Naama, but those tanks are just so well positioned, and now they'll walk up. It's creeping death here from Naama.
Indeed. Hoofen will have fewer and fewer space to operate here as those tanks proceed on creeping on further forward here. Eventually now will eventually engage here another time. Now we see the Medivacs arriving here just in time to heal those units up just a little bit, but eventually those will run out of energy quite quickly here. First tank Wolf just arrives being will siege up here on the high ground, but it is not looking good for Hoofen. He's going to lose his command center if he doesn't lift it here.
He lifts it indeed, but again that's going to deny him all of the mining from that base. Naama's just got to contain here, slowly strangling the income out of Hoofen. In fact, all those SCVs, everything's going to push now. The SCV's going to try and tank damage, the bio's going to come in. Are there too many tanks? I think he's going to clear out these tanks, but he's just so far ahead nonetheless.
Taking a look at workers killed, 27 have been killed so far. Hoofen is now down to 16 workers. And just look at what is coming across the map there. That is basically one production cycle of Naama. And that is already bigger than Hoofen's army.
He's intercepted all those marauders and now he's going to push in. Those marines are going to chase after it. They need to deal with that tank on the high ground. They do deal with the tank on the high ground, and now the medevac's come over, the bio comes over. There's another tank on the high ground, and that is going to see off this push. But it's surely a matter of time once that next production cycle is complete. There's going to be another wave of forces coming across the map.
Absolutely. Or just look at the forces that are sitting in Naama's natural already. That is so many marines and that one tank. That's just so much stuff, and Hoofen is doing a good job at holding on to this game, but he's just so far ahead. He has half the army and only a third of his opponent's workers, and that is just not good.
No, it's absolute clockwork macro, that, Elmo. It looks like Hoofen's now going to push out with his one tank and his small bioforce. It's kind of a desperation push. Maybe just having a little look to see if there's anything arriving. It's now going to come through the reeds. It'll now be visible if Hoofen can see it in time. However, it looks like Naama's going to push on once again. In terms of upgrades, they're almost bang level. In fact, we've got a vehicle weapon upgrade for Naama that Hoofen doesn't have, so his tanks are even more powerful. He's going to drop his tanks at the bottom. In come the marines, but those tanks are in a perfect position. There's so much damage to the bio. The bio stems in. Hoofen has his own tanks at the back. They're going to get picked off by the marines that run in, deal with those. The tanks on the low ground from Naama dealing us so much damage almost. It's like Groundhog Day.
It is indeed. Hoofen just has no way to come back from that. He once again, or his command center once again is under fire. There has to repair that. Marines will also now stem forward here trying to take out a lot of SUVs. There comes the drops onto the tanks, so they might eventually be cleared out here, but then at what cost?
I think Hoofen made a huge mistake with where he dropped his tank there. He dropped his tank on the high ground, and of course Naama's tanks on the low ground took an immediate shot at it and destroyed it. So that's a completely wasted tank from Hoofen. And look what's coming across the map once more. It's another production cycle, it's loads of bio, it's 2 tanks, it's 4 medevacs. He's just going to starve him out of minerals here, I fear. There's not many minerals left in the main. He's mining out his natural slowly but surely. Although due to the tanks that keep coming in, his mining rate for his natural's not great. Hoofen is now going to push out into the ground. Oh, he's going to get caught here by that bio that stims. Such a good game, Hoofen concedes. Second game of the series.
That was very, very clean in favor of Naama there. He got a very